here on out, when you hear me say the CAC, that's us, okay? Just before we start, maybe, can you guys show me, like, how many of you have elementary grade children? So pre-K through, what is your elementary here? Fifth or? Fourth. Pre-K through 4, is that everybody here? Okay, so nobody with, what?
I'm junior high.
You're junior high? Okay, and is there any, so it's pre-K through 4 and then a junior high and any high school or anything? I didn't see anybody not raised. Okay, all right, so we're gonna talk a little bit today about, first of all, about who I am, about what the CAC is and what we do, and then about what our presentations to your children. I really don't want to have a super long presentation. I want to give you guys a chance to just ask me questions so that I know what you want to know, and I will do the best I can to answer those, okay? So again, my name is Jill. I am the Executive Director at the Child Advocacy Center. I came to, well, I've been the director for just over 2 years. I came to the Advocacy Center about April of 2019. So I've been the director for a little over 2 years. Prior to that, I was the interim director while the other director left and they were doing the search for a new director. Prior to that, I was the assistant director. And then before I was at the CAC, I worked in another victim service agency for about 8.5 years. So all in, I've got over a decade's worth of experience working with victims of sex abuse, sexual assault, physical abuse, domestic violence, stalking, and bullying. And I have worked, right now the CAC covers Knox, Warren, and Henderson counties, our office does. So we work with children and families in those 3 counties. In my career, I've worked with families, victims, survivors in all 6 counties of our 9th Judicial Circuit. So that's Fulton and Hancock, McDonough, Warren, Knox, and Henderson. So I say that so that you know that I am not just some random person who's gonna come into your school and start talking to your kids about what it's like to be safe. I have talked to literally hundreds and hundreds of people about their experiences, about their abuse. I talk to children. I am a certified forensic interviewer at our agency. Beth Mann is our other forensic interviewer at our agency. So we are the people that talk to kids when there are allegations of abuse. Those kids come in and they talk to us. So I've talked to kids, I've talked to adults, parents, and I just want, hopefully that makes you guys feel a little bit more comfortable about who these people are that are coming into your school. So what is a CAC? What does a CAC do? CACs can probably best be described as kind of the center point for families and children when there are allegations of abuse. So to come into our agency, there's been a call of some sort, either to law enforcement alleging some sort of abuse, either physical or sexual, or there's been a call to the DCFS hotline. So we take referrals from either law enforcement or DCFS, and that's what gets a family into our agency for our services. All right, our purpose there is to give children a more child-friendly space to come and talk about what's going on with them and what's happened with them. Prior to CACs, children were sometimes interviewed at prosecutors' offices, attorneys' offices, police departments, sometimes at home with their abusers sitting next to them. Just kind of wherever it happened, that's where they interviewed them. With the invention or the creation of CACs, it was kind of because people realized that children needed kind of a special hand in doing this, that sometimes police departments can be intimidating, that attorneys' offices can be intimidating. So what better to interview a child about their experiences than a trained professional in a child-friendly location. So our office has toys, and it has art, and it has cushy chairs, and not your interrogation room with a two-way mirror that you might have to sit in if you're at the police department. Not an attorney's office with all the books and intimidating stuff attorneys might have in their office. Ours is just a place for kids, which also makes working there kind of fun because we have doll houses and cars, and I don't know, sometimes we get work done, sometimes we don't. So part of what makes us great there is that we work as a team. So we have us, our staff, at the CAC, and then we have our team that we work with. Our team includes the prosecutor in each of our counties, and then they also have people in their offices that they send to help with us too. Law enforcement, so we work and we partner with all law enforcement agencies in our counties. DCFS, so we partner with DCFS. That's how referrals get into our offices, DCFS and law enforcement. But we also partner with medical professionals who specialize in pediatric exams for children when there are sexual abuse allegations and physical abuse allegations. And then we also partner with mental health professionals. We contract with a trauma counseling service out of the Quad Cities. We have contracted with them for, oh boy, over 15 years. And they come down to our office anywhere between 2 and 4 days a week to counsel the children that we refer to them. So we have a contract with them when someone comes into our office. If a child or the child's siblings or parents need counseling to help deal with the abuse allegations that have come about, then we can make that referral to them for counseling. It's a really, really good counseling service to have in this area. Mental health services are really, really full right now, and our counseling service is still able to handle people. The great thing about our services is that there is no charge, so people are getting this very high quality counseling at no cost to them because we pay for that. So that's kind of with our partners, that's how we handle things then. And then that gives the family just kind of a central location to call. So if this happens and they don't know who to call, they've talked to DCFS, they've talked to caseworkers, they've talked to investigators, they've talked to patrolmen, they've talked to attorneys. Who do they call next, and who do you call with that question? They can call our office, and our advocate will work with them to find answers to their questions. Our advocate will make those calls for them. Our advocate will make referrals for them. Our advocate will provide resources for them. So say there's a situation where, you know, an incident of abuse maybe leaves a family broken up and we need to find new housing, and there's now a question of income. Our advocate can help with all of those questions and refers to all those services in the community to help that family. So, so the counseling and the referrals, the team aspect of it, then our other services, if there's a prosecution stemming from the allegations of abuse, we can attend court with that family. We can make sure that they're up to date on the court process and all the court hearings. We can help answer their questions. We can facilitate meetings between the family and the prosecutor, all kinds of things like that. We are the only agency that works with victims of abuse, that stays with those victims of abuse from the moment that allegation is brought forward until the minute that case is closed, and then sometimes even longer. So when that allegation comes forward and they're referred to our office, we start working with them. We will continue to work with them as long as they want us to until that individual is prosecuted and sentenced, or if there's not a prosecution, until that child is finished counseling. If they want counseling, they will be with our office. So we really develop relationships with the families by doing that. So what is Erin's Law? Erin's Law, in Illinois, Erin's Law became a law in 2011. As part of Erin's Law being implemented, the governor's office created a task force that said, okay, this is the kind of the aspects of what we need Erin's Law to be. Part of that was people going in and working with the schools to create this programming that teaches kids about body safety, about their ability to say no, and about the fact that their body is really theirs, and that they should tell people if something is happening to them that they don't like, all right? Part of that was, part of the law said that the schools needed to either develop a curriculum or to partner with an agency that could work with them and develop a curriculum with them and provide these presentations for them. I think everybody knows that schools have enough to do and enough curriculum to, I think you would agree. So we offer that service as a way to make sure that the parents' minds are at ease, that we are professionals and that we are doing this, and that we've been talking to kids for years about stuff like this. So that hopefully that eases parents' minds, but it also eases the teachers, hopefully the teachers and the staff and faculty's minds of the school, in that they can rely on us to kind of do most of the work in these situations. And then it's a great partnership, and then that develops ways for us to communicate to if there are kids that need help in the school specifically. Erin Marin is a young woman, although she got her master's degree in 2009, so I should probably, maybe not, she's still young. She was a victim of sexual abuse for about 6.5 years as a child. When she got older, she decided that she was gonna speak out and that there needed to be something done, that children needed to be able to speak out when things were happening to them, that kids needed to know that this was not okay, that kids needed to know it was okay to tell on a grown-up, because she didn't know it was okay to tell on a grown-up. I have, am I gonna need a password?
Oh, yep.
I do, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And when I was a young child, I was sexually abused. And it was done by people I knew and trusted. I was 6 years old, but I could tell you the details of what happened over 20 years ago as if it happened yesterday. The closet doors open, the toys on the floor, and one thing I'll never forget, he looked at me and said, "This is our little secret. If you tell anybody, no one will believe you." When I was 11 years old, it happened again, this time by a trusted family member. And I went home and began writing about it in my childhood diary. And for 2.5 years, I filled that diary, not letting anybody know the horrors I was enduring. This secret is killing me, and I have to tell someone. What if he is right and no one believes me? How do I make him stop? If you're out there, God, please help me. And it wasn't until my little sister came to me and said the words I will never forget. "Ryan's gross." I remember looking at her and saying, "He's doing it to you too?" The very next day, we told our parents. I thought because the abuse ended, that life was gonna get so much easier. But the nightmares and flashbacks began to consume me, haunt me, and I just remember being so angry. And I eventually had this turning point of confronting one of my abusers in a 5-page letter. It was angry and hate-felt. Never in a million years would have thought I would get a response back. But 5 days later, I got one.
"I'm sorry for what I did to you a long time ago. My actions weren't thought out. I was confused and disoriented. I wish I had never hurt you the way that I did. I am sorry for the past, and I hope you can forgive me. But if you cannot, I understand. I am sorry."
But then I began to realize that I was allowing that anger, that hatred, that bitterness to control my life. And that's when I made that decision. I said, I'm gonna forgive him and do something positive with this. I want to go out there and help other people who carry the same shame, the same secrets that I did, and allow them to find their voice. That's why I created Erin's Law, requiring sexual abuse prevention education in our public schools, teaching kids the difference between safe touch, unsafe touch, safe secrets, unsafe secrets. Erin's Law has been passed now in 26 states and pending in 24. I've made it my life mission to get Erin's Law passed in every single state. I don't want another generation, another century of children to not be educated on this very important issue. We teach children stranger danger, tornado drills, bus drills, fire drills, say no to drugs, but we teach nothing on sexual abuse. As a society, we sweep it under the rug, look the other way, and think it's not gonna happen to us. Parents, you need to know how to talk to your kids about sexual abuse, the warning signs to look for, and the proper way to handle it if your child does disclose, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. And kids, if this has ever happened to you, this is not your fault. You're not to blame, and you need to tell somebody. There are safe places for you to go. Go to tlc.com/bethevoice to educate yourself on sexual abuse, to get the support you need and help pass Erin's Law in every state. The National Sexual Assault Hotline provides free, safe, and confidential help 24/7 by phone at 800-656-HOPE or online at rain.org. My name is Erin.
All right. So that's Erin. That's Erin from Erin's Law. And a little bit about why she's doing what she's doing and why she's trying to get Erin's Law passed in all of the states. Currently, I think she said like 25, I forget what she said, but I think we're up to 37 or 39 now states, so that's good news. And that was the last time I actually checked, which was probably a year or two ago, so it might be more than that now. So moving into what exactly prevention looks like for your children when we come in and do it. You said you're junior high, you guys are grade school. What grades are you in grade school?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten? All kindergarten?
Kindergarten.
First and second? Okay. All right, so I'll just kind of go through each grade and I'll try to remember the younger grades first and then junior high. I'm also gonna go ahead and kind of gloss over what I do for high school just because eventually your kids are gonna be there, right? Don't rush it though. So for pre-K, pre-Kers are about 3 years old, 4 years old, attention span of about that much, right? So what we do is we read this book and we just talk to them. This is just your body belongs to you, and it tells them, you know, your body is yours and you're the boss of your body. So, and I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you guys, I swear, but it says things like, most of the time you like to be hugged and kissed. Sometimes you don't like hugs, and it's okay to say, no thank you, not right now. And if an adult says, like, doesn't listen when you say that, you can go ask your mom and dad, and your mom and dad will help you say, no thanks, I don't want a hug right now. It talks about sometimes people should never, there are places people should never touch. Those places are covered by your bathing suit, they're your private places, and people shouldn't touch them. If somebody does, you should tell an adult you can talk to. And remember, if somebody touches you in any way that you don't like, even a hug, if you're not in the mood, you can say, no thank you, not right now. Like, that's the gist of the story. We then talk about, like, what are some touches that we like? And we do this with all the grades, well, not the high schoolers, obviously, but like all of the little kids, what are some touches that you like? And so, like, there's fist bumps, and there's high fives, and there's hugs. I have kids tell me that their dogs really like it when they pet them, so those are nice touches, right? So yeah. And then we talk a little bit about kind of good secrets and bad secrets. Again, kids love to tell their dogs their secrets. And we talk about some adults that you really like that you can talk to about anything in the world. So it's really very basic, kind of almost like consent education for pre-K kids, you know, teaching them that if they don't want to hug their friends or even their mom, if they don't even want to hug their mom, they can say, not right now, mom, not right now, friend, and that you'll still be friends. And then if anybody says anything you don't like or does anything you don't like, then you tell an adult. And then we try to go around the room and ask them who are the adults in their life that they can talk to about anything. And they give us all kinds of examples. Okay, so it's very, very, very short and sweet with pre-K. Then we move into kindergarten through, let me grab my sheet, sorry. All right. And we send home this handout. For pre-K, we send home this handout, and it's just the 5 safety rules for pre-K. And it's just that your body is mine, and you have private parts, and that you should learn the proper names for your body parts. So as a little tidbit of education for parents, please teach your kids the proper names of their body parts. They're not bad words. Teach them that so that when they're talking to someone and they try to disclose if something happens, they know what to say and people aren't confused. And I use the example of the little girl who says, you know, her uncle licks her cookie, and the teacher says, oh, well, you'll just have to get another cookie. Cookie was her pet name for her vagina. Her uncle was not licking her chocolate chip cookie. Her uncle was licking what she called her cookie. And it took several people that she disclosed this to before someone actually made that connection. So I don't know how many times, this happened with her uncle before something happened. So proper names of body parts. It's a little awkward sometimes, but it's very, very, very important. So we hand that out to the pre-K kids. Moving into kindergarten and 3rd grade, we have, and I'm gonna pull it up, I'm not gonna play it because it's a 15-minute video, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like. Maybe. Okay, so when we're doing K through 3, we are using this Barbara Sinatra Children's Center Foundation videos, and they're the Protect Yourself rules. So it's a grouping of about 2-minute long videos, 2.5 minutes, something like that, a total of a little over 15 minutes worth of videos that talk about the Protect Yourself rules. So for kindergarten through 3rd grade, those rules, and we hand this out to them to take home. Those rules are unsafe touches are any touch that to a private body part or part of your body that's covered by your bathing suit. Hitting is wrong. That's a Protect Yourself rule. It doesn't matter who it is. If you don't want to be touched, it's not okay. That's a Protect Yourself rule. Stranger safety, and then we teach them that it's okay to shout, run, and tell. And those are the 3 steps that they emphasize in the video. Shout, run, and tell if somebody touches you or harms you in some way. And then also tell a grown-up. So it's a little repetitive, right? But they're little still, they're little kids. So if we stick to the basics, that's what they learn. People shouldn't touch you or hurt you or hit you in a way you don't like, or hit you at all, or touch you in a way you don't like, and shout, run, and tell. And then we talk about adults that they trust, and who they can talk to about anything in the world. We go over some touches that they like high fives, some bad touches that they don't like, and somebody always tells me that somebody in the class bit them. So, things like that. So it's not just all, when we're talking body safety, it's not just all talking about like sex abuse to these kids and like inundating them with that. It's all about owning their own space and their own body. So then we hand that out so you guys can see that come home, depending on what grade your kid is in at the time. And then ditto 4th through 6th. There is all videos K through 3. If you go to this website, I actually think I chose that grade level. If you go to this website and it's fightchildabuse.org, you can see the videos that we use, okay?
We also have one. Right.
Yeah, it's a link, right?
Yeah.
A link on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you picked up some of the flyers, you can see on there the link, so you can go there and see what the videos are all about. So grades 4 through 6, again, they are the Protect Yourself rules, and they are very, very, very similar to the K through 3. With the unsafe touches, hitting is wrong. It doesn't matter who it is. One of the things that they change is they add in smart choices. So when you're talking 4th through 6th, you're talking about kids who are getting online, maybe playing video games, maybe have their own phone, and so they're talking about smart choices. Do you talk to strangers online? Do you give them your name or your address or your phone number? Those types of smart choices. And then telling them to stop and telling an adult. So again, very, very similar sorts of Protect Yourself rules. The videos are a little bit more geared towards older kids. So a little bit older language, but still nothing specific about like body parts or anything like that. Just really about touches and respecting yourself, respecting like your space and respecting other people's space, okay? So that's 4th through 6th. So after 6th grade, or actually at 6th grade, it does get a little bit tricky. A lot of grade schools these days, they vary. So some grade schools are K through like 4, K through 5. Others are K through 6, or pre-K even through 4th, 5th, or 6th. 2 or 3 years ago, they passed I think it was 2 years ago, they passed what was called the consent law. The consent law indicated that all kids grades grades 6 through 12 needed to be taught consent and what consent was and what laws around consent meant for kids. Okay, so if the 6th grade is included in the grade school, they generally get the protect yourself rules. If the 6th grade is included in the junior high, they might get the older presentation for the junior high age. The reason we do that is because usually we do all of the presentations kind of back to back to back, and sometimes we mix the kids in together and sometimes we don't. Kind of depends on the school. So depending on the school and depending on what we decide, like at the time, if we're going to talk to the 6th graders alone, they might get a little bit older presentation. That presentation will talk about body safety. It talks about respect. It talks about respecting yourself. It talks about healthy relationships. It talks about boundaries as far as, you know, again, consent. If someone says they don't want you to call them, don't call them. If you say to someone you don't want them to call you, they shouldn't call you. It doesn't matter if you're hurting someone or not. If they don't want you to touch them, don't touch them. So we kind of go into that a little bit. I will tell you, a lot of parents think that like at 6th grade, they really don't need to know that stuff, but I had a 6th grader once ask me to explain a booty call to him. So they're talking about this stuff, whether we like it or not. My kids are older, but I also was horrified at some of the questions that my kids asked me in 6th grade that the other kids were telling them. And so I think it's good that we get ahead of it, and I think it's good that we have these conversations with these kids so that they are comfortable asking whatever they need to ask. And no, I did not explain a booty call to the child in detail or anything of the sort. We do hand out in high school, then we hand out these other 2 handouts. And this is the age of consent for various activities in the state of Illinois, according to the laws. And this one is what the charges would be for different sex offenses in the state of Illinois. So again, you guys aren't in high school yet, so just kind of to gloss that over, we actually talk about healthy dating relationships in high school. We talk about abusive relationships. We talk about, should your partner be allowed to check your phone? Should your partner be allowed to know where you are at all times? Should your partner be allowed to follow you? Things like that, so that we are really addressing that whole psychological and physical and sexual abuse that happens at a teenage level, and then also going into college as well. So to not dwell on the high school stuff a whole lot because you guys aren't there yet, we'll just kind of let that go for now unless you guys have specific questions. I did want to spend most of the time answering any of your questions, so I hope, I don't know if we have a time limit.
No, we don't.
Okay,
We're good.
Okay, so I don't want to just stand up here and talk at you all night. So questions, anyone? Like, you guys are welcome to look at the book. You're welcome to any of the handouts. Who has questions?
Anything?
Well, I'm going to tell you now, your kids are going to be a lot more chatty.
Yes.
So, and by ways of example, yeah.
Okay, so my son, he'll be 6 next month, and we started actually teaching him the difference between female and male body parts, and like we don't go around the house in just the nude, or it's not okay for him to do that. But if he and we've been introducing the words, the private part words, but if he was to bring those to school and say them, like talking to his friends, would he ever get in trouble for that?
No.
Like, either jokingly or he's a kindergartner, so.
A lot of times, we have talks
Okay.
with children all the time because they'll say things that they don't understand what they're saying and
He's a
out of
very-
context.
Very vocal child, so.
So no, that's a normal part of our day.
Okay.
But no, that's completely normal, so they would not get in trouble.
Okay.
No.
He's a very vocal child.
Yes.
Just making sure that he would not get in trouble.
Yes, out of the mouths of babes, I say.
Thinking the same thing.
Yes.
He has word vomit.
Well, and that's, you know, kind of therein lies the problem. Like, that's very, very important, and it's very good that you're teaching him that. I distinctly remember when I was a child and my brother said, "Shut up, you big vagina," to me. And my mom would say, "We don't call names like that." And he said, "Well, I don't know what that is." And so then my mom had to explain penis and vagina and how it was different, like, to him. He didn't know. So in general, name calling, not okay.
Right.
But the word itself could have been he could have said a lot worse, you know? You know, and different parents teach their kids different things and want their kids to call things different things. And so sometimes that does create a lot of questions in the children, because one child is saying this and another child's like, well, that's not okay. But yeah, as far as getting in trouble, like,
No.
I assume you guys have heard way worse. Like,
We hear lots of things. Yes.
All kinds of stuff. So, yeah.
Is this a presentation that'll be done every year from here on out? Is it
Um,
required to be done every year?
So I hope so. I will tell you, Erin's law is required by law, so the schools are supposed to do it. The last couple years, it's kind of dropped off because of COVID. Like, it's been really hard to kind of get that coordination going. So it should be done every year. There are some changes in this state where they might be making adjustments to the curriculum. When they first created the task force indicated that the best way to do Erin's law presentations was to make them repetitive. So you do them each year, but also, like, for your kindergarten class, you go in for 4 different sessions, like you would like teaching your math curriculum. You know, you move it up a little bit each, you cover a little bit each week or whatever. So I think that this state might be going to that, and if that's what they go to, then that's what we'll do. But in the meantime, yes, I as long as we're invited back, we'll be doing them, and each year they'll get a little bit more.
So what if you have parents that feel comfortable teaching their kids about it at home? Are they allowed to opt out for, like, preschoolers or kindergartners at that age, and then let them pick it up as the kids get older?
Absolutely. So the letter that we sent out to families was a district letter. It's the same letter, pre-K through 12. And it does give families the option to opt out. They just, like, at our level, they would send an email or a message to the teacher or myself to say, you know, we don't want them to be a part of this. And then they'll go to a different location during that time period. Pre-K and kindergarten in our building will have classroom presentations, whereas 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th will have grade level presentations. And you, as a parent, always have that option of deciding, yeah, you know, maybe I want this, but not in pre-K, or maybe I don't ever want this, or, you know, do it every year, whatever it is. But parents always have that right.
And that's why another suggestion when the task force was created was that the parents be involved, that they know what's going on. So that's why we're here tonight. That's why we decided to do it this way. And also, like, when I'm doing the presentations, usually the teachers stay in the room, so that they're aware of what's going on too. So if there are questions after I leave, or a disclosure of abuse after I leave, then those teachers are at least aware of what's going on as well. So again, the task force, when it was created and when Erin's Law started, they really, really emphasized the importance of a collaboration between the presenter, between the educator, between the schools, and between the parents, because literally the whole point is to keep the kids safe, and, like, all of us have that in common, right? So it's not I need to teach them instead of you, or you need to teach them instead of me. It's entirely up to the parent. And if that is something you opt for, if you need handouts, if you need guidance, if you need video suggestions, book suggestions, reach out to us, and we are happy to help with that. So that's always, again, the end goal, I think, for all of us is the same. So. Other questions? Going once, going twice?
I would assume that at the junior high and high school level, if a parent wanted to opt out, they would contact the administration or the guidance counselor.
Yeah. I mean, it's always an option. You can always, as far as I know, I mean, as far as I know, any of the schools I've worked with have let the parents opt out if they want. For the students. I think at high school, sometimes they let the students decide as well.
Mhm.
So.
Absolutely.
So any other questions on anything about the presentations, about what we do, anything at all? I answered every single one of your questions in 40 minutes or less. Awesome.
Thank you very much for coming out.
Huh?
Can't tell preschool.
No, you are correct.
There's always